My dad and stepmom have been getting into these massive arguments lately, and the one part that I can't stand is when I get in the middle of it. I don't want to be in the middle of it, but when my mom, stepmom, and dad keep saying to me, "Well, whose side are you on?" I don't want to pick a side. I just want peace in the household, so I do this. Hey guys, my name's Mara. I own an antique shop, or at least owned an antique shop until my stepmom Bee ruined everything for me and my father Arnold, pretty recently. See, my mom died in a car crash when I was 10. I remember that it was a very hard time for me and my dad. My dad really loved her, and I can still remember them dancing in the living room or cooking dinner together at the weekends, and as I look back at them, I see them as a perfect match. Do you know who wasn't a perfect match? The woman my dad married afterward. I was about 15 years of age when Dad introduced me to Bee. She was an interior designer, and I thought that she was pretty. But you know what? That's all I really thought about her. I didn't spend much time with her during that time, and when they got married, I was already getting ready to go to college anyways. I didn't bond much with her even when I used to come back from college for the holidays. I would usually spend the holidays watching documentaries with my dad or catching up with friends and having dinner with my dad and stepmom. And this routine was preferable for everyone as I did not like overstepping and it gave them plenty of opportunity to not be saddled with me. Well, however, in this time period, I did notice that they fought a lot. They were always going at each other for the smallest of things, and it was also a wonder that they even got married in the first place at all, because someone who annoyed you with every single fiber at their very being should not be considered a good marriage material partner for you. Although I didn't feel like it was my place to say anything, so I did not. Things soured even further when I turned 20. I was very close to graduating, and I only had one more semester left, and I wanted to pursue my dream of owning an antique shop. I'd grown up watching pawn shows and, reality TV shows that had stuff to do with pawn shops. And this has led me to get interested in antiques. I'd gotten a degree in business, and I simply liked collecting old watches and paintings. My dad decided to surprise me by buying me a shop and just to start my own antique dealership. I was over the moon about it, as I had been looking into getting loans to get my own shop. But finding out that my father's been saving up for me too, it just makes my dream come true, and it's very special for me. I'm internally grateful. However, my stepmom did not think that way. My stepmom was immediately jealous that her husband had done that for me, and had never done anything as nice for her. They got into a huge fight right there in front of me, and it was very uncomfortable. However, I did agree with my dad. It was my dad's money, and he's been saving it ever since I was little, much too little to give me a graduation gift, and B had nothing to do with it. I did not say so to them, though, not wanting to get in the middle of their fight. I moved back after graduating to start my dealership, and it was glorious. In the beginning, it was hard because it was new to me, but my father helped me with his own experience, and in a year or two, we had started to get some loyal customers. During this time, my knowledge of antiques grew highly. I got to learn about different periods, styles, and materials, and I spent so much time researching items and trying to figure out their origins. Networking was a bit hard as I was a young woman, but my father would accompany me just to make me look more serious and legit. However, my favorite part of the dealership was the customers. I loved engaging in conversations while they sold or purchased antiques. All this time went by with my dad and stepmom fighting in the background. They would bicker all the time over non-consequential things, and I would try to stay away from them from their fire's radius. However, I did not like my stepmom. She was usually the instigator of the fights because of her insecurities and jealousies, and I'd say about a year ago, during Christmas, I got stuck in one of their fights. Their fight escalated to the point where my dad asked whose side I was even on. I tried not to choose a side, not wishing for their relationship to deteriorate even further because of me. But when they both insisted that I take a side, well, obviously I took my father's side. You can say this did not go over well with my stepmom, who reacted badly. Since that day, B started to treat me coldly. Initially, we at least had a decent relationship where we acknowledge each other and greet each other warmly like family. But ever since that day, she gave me a cold shoulder and began to completely ignore my existence. Initially, I did not like how that made me feel, but soon I realized how childish that was on her part. She should not have insisted I take a side in the first place if she was going to react this way. She stopped cooking for my dad and me, which was fine because Dad was a great cook, but it was annoying when she would cook for herself and not leave anything for us. It felt like a really immature move, and after a few months, my dad revealed that B had stopped taking care of her half of the expenses. Before they got married, they had, made a deal to take care of half of the house expenses each, and now she was backing off. So, a couple of months went by like this, with B acting immaturely, and I tried to keep my distance and did not even visit them for the holidays in fear of ruining their relationship even further. However, recently my stepmom filed for a divorce, to my relief. They were truly a bad match, and my dad was initially reluctant, but he knew in his heart that they weren't meant to be. They bickered all the time, and the past few months have been especially bad for them. The problem began when she demanded my antique dealership in the divorce, as the shop had not been officially transferred to me in my dad's will yet. B tried to get it from me as revenge for choosing my father over her. I don't know what she was thinking. Why would I choose her over my own biological father? I mean, we didn't even particularly like each other that much. However, B's coming at me. Me and my dad did go over to her and tried to talk her out of taking my antique dealership, but she refused. I mean, straight up. She said that we had made her interested in antiques too, and she said that she would love to give it a try. She acted like it wasn't personal, like she did not just demand the shop, because I had refused to side with her. I told her that she was incompetent to ever own a shop. She told me if a dumb 25-year-old like me can figure it out, she can too. I was angry at that comment, but a plan had begun to form in my mind. A plan to expose her. Incompetency and stupidity, so I told her that she could have the dealership and showcase her competency to the world and left. My dad's confused and doesn't like it. I told him that I had a plan to drive B out of my dealership, and he asked me what I would do in the meantime, to which I didn't even know the answer to. I didn't know what I'll be doing either, so as far as I only have a vague plan of getting back at B and nothing else, but my dad's right. Maybe I should get a job at someone else's antique dealership. It'll be a huge step down, but at least it'll be something to do while I teach B a lesson. I'm going to teach my ex-stepmom that she messed with the wrong woman. She thinks of me as dumb, and I'm going to make her regret ever underestimating me. I'll make her come begging me to ask her for help in no time, and I just need to be patient in the meantime. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. It looks like today's story is going to be full of karma and revenge. Here's the first update, so let's jump right into it. And if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, take a second to hit that subscribe button. Alright, here it is. Hello everyone, it's Mara again. I've been busy for the past few weeks, busy networking with some of my dealership friends, finding opportunities just to undermine B. B, of course, she got the shop. Yep. I could not let her get my employees, though. I'd spent years selecting these individuals, and we have a good rapport. I trust them completely with my shop, so of course I can't let B have them. They're all competent and so very capable of running the shop, but I can't just leave them for B to use and succeed. Well, when B got to the shop and showed up the first day, all the employees resigned. You might be wondering what was in it for them. I got in contact with my fellow dealership owners and got my employees even better jobs than before. I didn't even have to convince them to leave the job. I told them about the opportunity and they interviewed on their own. Of course, I knew that they would all get the job, and they're great workers, capable of owning their own dealerships. But while they can't afford to do it, they would just want a well-paying job in the meantime. So I got that for them. This is, of course, angering B. When she found out that I was behind it all, she immediately came to attack me. I'd sold my house and moved back in with my dad to gather some money to rent out a place a lot of you recommended. So, Bee approached my father's house and I was there. She accused me of being a snake and demanded that my father knock some sense into my brain. She told him to get me to bring back the employees. Well, I obviously laughed in her face and told her that I would do no such thing. After all, she's gotten the shop, not the employees, in the divorce. I claimed that it was the employees' choice if they wished to work there or not. And you know what? They chose not to. She accused me of bribing them, and I told her that I just paid them well, and maybe she could get them back by paying them even more. She left our house red-faced after I told her to spend her time getting new employees, rather than screaming in our faces. Of course, I know that she can't get the employees back because then she'll have to pay them from her pocket. And so is so incompetent that I'm sure she'll run out of my old customers sooner, rather than later. She literally has no idea about how to run an antique dealership. Anyways, the good news is that I found a place to rent out and start my own business again. The problem is that it's not the best location. I might be able to call some of my old customers back if I get to work and get it going, but they all might not be interested as there's a lot more dealerships that'll be more convenient to them. But I know it won't be Bee's dealership though. I'd say she's doomed. Update number 2. Hey guys, it's me again, it's Mara. It took me more than what I thought, and it took more than expected for Bee to come begging for my help. It's been 4 months since my last update, and the moment just came. Bee, she called up my dad. She was on the verge of crying as she tried to get my dad to make me come help her manage the shop. She claimed that she didn't know how to handle the business, and she claimed that she had no contacts and did not know how to take care of the shop properly. Even her new employees were mostly useless, and the people who knew how to handle the shop wanted higher pay than she could even manage. She was in a bad situation from all angles and begged my dad to talk to me. My dad wasn't having it and told her to contact me directly, and she did so today. She showed up at our house and told me that she needed my help. She said all the things that she told my dad to me, and she then made an offer to me. She said that she would fire every employee and pay me their whole sum of payments every month. Yeah, it's a great offer, as I'm pretty sure I can take care of the dealership on my own, especially if I have her to work beside me, but why would I want to do that? So, of course, I said no. I laughed in her face, actually, and told her that if that was what she wanted, now she had to bear the fruit of her choice. That did not go over well with her, as it only angered her further. She told my dad that he raised a spoiled little brat of a daughter, that I was stupid and dumb, and if I did not take her offer because she was being so generous to me, the least I could have done is actually consider her offer. Well, that's when I told her that I was keeping a close eye on her. I was keeping tabs on all the customers that had left her because of her incompetence. I revealed that I had started another shop of my own and stolen her customers. I haven't stolen all the customers, as the location of my new shop isn't the best, but I've stolen most of my loyal customers, and I contacted the customers that she ran away because of her complete incompetence, and the ones who were eager to continue our business came to my other shop. My number of customers have slightly decreased, but she didn't need to know that, so I didn't tell her. I let her believe that I had all the customers I had in my old shop to make her stew in her incompetency even further. That's when Bee began to throw slurs at me and my father. My dad just sighed and rolled his eyes. He's a good guy. I really can't imagine how he fell in love with this monster and even married her. He told her that he wished her the best and wanted nothing to do with her before shutting the door in her face. Honestly, this encounter was very cathartic. I felt so much better seeing Bee lose her composure. Of course, it cost me a lot, my whole antique dealership. But I'm looking for a permanent property to begin a dealership in a more desirable location. Update number 3. Hey guys, it's Mara again. A month has passed since my last update, and Bee is in no condition to keep the shop running. She showed up at my house while I was away. She offered my father a deal. She said that they should exchange the dealership with a house, and the house that we live in is a 4-bedroom home. It's pretty big. However, the shop that my dad gave me was huge, and it's a commercial property in a commercial district, and the dealership cost almost just as much as the house that we live in. So, my dad told me that he is considering taking her up on the offer. However, I think it's a bad idea as Bee has ruined a lot of business prospects there. She's ruined my dealership's reputation, and don't even forget more than half of the customers she's run away with her incompetency. It would take us a lot of time to come back from that. But that did give me another idea. I do want my dealership back. I'm pretty sure that I can have the shop running like before in under 6 months of hard work. But I'm not going to let my stepmom get a good deal. I'm not giving up my dad's house in return for the shop. Today, me and my dad went to my old dealership, where Bee was working alone with another bored-looking woman. I looked around and the damage that she had done was clear. All the antiques were thrown here and there without any system, and I could only imagine the damage that she must have done to the back rooms. We retired into the office to talk privately, and my office was at least intact even though some of my knickknacks were nowhere to be seen. I turned to Bee and told her that I had an offer for her. I laid out the facts that she had ruined the business and it's probably half the original price with no customers and no contacts at all. I told her that under, no circumstances, we would be stupid enough to give up our house for the shop that was half of its original price now. But I told her that I would, in fact, be interested in buying the business outright at 30% of what it originally cost. Well, guys, Bee starts to laugh in my face and asks if we actually thought she would say yes, and I calmly told her, well, you know what, Bee, if you're smart, you would. She told me that she's on to me. She announced that she would sell the business, but she would never sell it to such a low price, and she gave us another offer, which was 80% of the original price, and it was time to laugh at her incompetency once again. I told her that if she ever tried to sell the business at that price, people would laugh in her face and leave her. Well, my dad thinks that we should have taken her up on the offer, but I don't think so. I have another plan boiling up my sleeve. I didn't tell her the truth when I told her that the business was probably half the original price. She had definitely ruined the business, and the business is definitely in a loss. But it's nothing that I can't undo. Well, now I'll play my ace in my sleeve. Update number 4. Hey everyone, it's Mara again, another update. It's been about a month since I made Bee a deal in which she can't really refuse, but she denied it. She's grown desperate now, and the business is still at a loss, and she needs to sell it ASAP, and she's now having to pay money from her own pocket. I know she's desperate, and she would agree to a bad deal if she thinks it's a good deal for the damaged business. So, I have an antique dealership friend, Marianne, and she worked for another dealership across the state, but I knew I could trust her. We had gone to university together even, and talked on the phone frequently, and I knew that she wasn't happy with her job. So I knew how to get her on board with the plan. I begged her. I straight up begged her to help, and in return, I offered her a well-paying job. I wanted her to approach Bee and buy her business back from me. I told her to tell Bee that she and I were rivals, and that she had heard that the business wasn't profitable. Bee would try to sell the business for a high price, but I trusted Marianne to not pay more than half, which is what Bee believes the business is worth. The confirmation of the price from Marianne would only make her more agreeable, and that's exactly what she did. After a few days, Bee agreed to sell the shop at a 50% loss, thinking that's all the business cost anyways. I gave the amount of money to Marianne, who then gave the business to me, and now I'm back to owning the business, but Bee doesn't even know that yet, does she? Well, Bee decided to come flaunt her amazing deal in our face that week after the deal was finalized and ownership was given to Marianne, and then to me. She came in hot and told us that she sold the business for more than what we poor people were ready to pay her. She mocked us at the shop that we would never see again, and that she ruined all of our dreams related to the business already, as she had already planned to do it. That's when I lost it. I laughed. Right inside of her face, I revealed that it was me who owned the business again, as I had sent Marianne to buy it from her underneath her nose. And then I revealed the real price of the business. Guys, she was shocked. when she realized that it wasn't half like I and Marianne had said, but way more, and that this deal had actually been a loss for her. So Bee goes to threaten us that she would sue us for cheating her. Well, I shrugged and told her that she had no legal grounds to stand on. She sold the business straight up, her own free will. And I purchased the business from Marianne legally. And there was nothing that she could do about it. She screamed at us for cheating her out of her own business, and we had to shut the door in her face. This happened today, and I can't wait to start working in my dream dealership that I own again. Final update. Hello everyone, it's Mara. Probably the last update. A few things have happened since I got my antique dealership back from Bee, and I thought I should wrap it up in one final update. The days after she threatened to sue me and my dad for cheating her, she showed up at my shop and trashed a bunch of stuff. She even tried to swing a bat at my head, but I was behind the counter. I and Marianne, who had just been working, retreated to my office while Bee broke a bunch of antiques on display. I could hear the screams that she would cause me a lot of loss too if I thought I could get away with cheating her out of money. However, I called the police, and they soon arrived, and guess what? However, Bee was right. She did cause me some loss. She destroyed stuff worth thousands of dollars, but I had insurance, so guess what? They covered my loss like I just sold it. The cops, however, did advise me to get a restraining order against Bee, and the next time she could swing the bat at me, and I agreed. I immediately filed for a restraining order, and now she's not allowed anywhere near my vicinity. Now, it's been about 4 months since I last saw her, and I don't know what she's doing at all. However, the dealership is doing great. I was able to reestablish more of my clients and customers, and some did not even wish to come back, which, that's fine. I've been doing my best just to undo the damage that Bee did to the reputation of the dealership, and I have to work extra hard on networkings to get more clients. But it's worth it. Now I don't have to deal with Bee and the bad side that she's brought out of my father. That's it, guys. That's all for the update. Me and Dad are just doing well for ourselves again, and we're just trying to move forward from the bad experience we had with Bee. Anyways, thank you for reading this. So we learned a lot from today's story. It just seems like OP was going for a bit of vengeance, a little bit of revenge, and that's exactly what Mara got. But on the bright side, I don't think Bee had a clue what she was doing, and it was pretty obvious. I mean, why would she even want that so much? The shop, the antique store? She didn't have a clue what was going on with it. I do want to hear from you guys. If you were in OP's unique position and you had to deal with Bee the entire time, would you have done so exactly like OP did? In my opinion, I would have done it a little different. First of all, I would never have given her the shop in the first place. That's something that OP built up from the ground up, and just to basically give it away and watch Bee completely ruin all the hard work that OP put into it, it just didn't make sense to me, and the revenge wasn't worth it. Anyways, knowing that, I want to know what you guys would have done. So do drop a comment down below. We know, though, at the end of the story, it did work out for Mara. So, maybe she did make the right decision. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories like this every single day. If you guys want to be a part of these daily readings, go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.